Welcome back to Doctor Who Day, and this is episode 9. We have one more episode to go, which is actually on tonight. Now, last week's episode, I wasn't really that impressed with. I just thought it was kind of slow, that, the other characters in the show weren't all that interesting, and I don't know, it just wasn't a very exciting episode. So now we have one more episode to go, like I said. So I was hoping, that this one was going to blow me away, and actually, it did not blow me away. It was better than last week's, but it wasn't one of the best episodes. And with that being said, now it's like we have one more episode left here, and I'm kind of worried about this last episode, because this is the season finale, it needs to be big, it needs to be exciting, it needs to be explosive, everything that the last two episodes really were not. Now, this episode was actually about the Doctor who shows up to this house that was all boarded up, and it seemed like there was some sort of monster out in the woods, and they find a blind girl inside the house with her father missing. So all that actually started out really good, really interesting. I thought, oh, okay, here we go. First I thought, maybe zombies. I don't know, that was my first thought because of The Walking Dead. Every time they walk up to a house and it's all boarded up, I think, zombies! But it wasn't zombies, so they thought it was something out in the woods that had taken her father. And again, I thought, okay, that's an interesting idea. We're going to get a monster episode here. And again, that's not really what this was. So they find an old mirror upstairs, and it's sort of like an Alice in Wonderland type of situation, where you can go through the mirror and end up in sort of like a passageway that leads to someplace else. And I'm not going to give out any major spoilers here if you haven't seen the episode yet. Out of the 7 people who's watched my last review, and that's the thing about these reviews, is they are getting crazy low views. I mean, 7 people literally watched my last review on this, so I really don't know if I'm going to do this again for the next season, because, this does take up a lot of my time, sitting down here recording episodes, editing them, uploading them for only 7 people to watch, and I don't really understand why only 7 people are watching these. I mean, I don't really get it, but again, I said I was going to do this entire season, and I am doing this entire season. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and the semi-okay episodes, which this was here. So we've had these kind of episodes there's been at least 3 or 4 this season out of the 10 episodes. So it's been a kind of rocky season, You had some really exciting episodes. You had some of the best Doctor Who episodes ever. You've had some really slow, boring episodes. And then you've had just an okay, mediocre, whatever episode. And that's kind of what this was. Was this terrible? No, it wasn't terrible. It's not horrible. It was just kind of it was mediocre. And once again, the big problem here is not the Doctor or the companions or anything like that. It's the supporting cast. It's the people that they meet aren't interesting. The people they were meeting here in this episode weren't very good actors, I didn't think. I think they're actually probably the worst of the actors that I've seen so far throughout all these episodes. But the story did make up for these other actors. And it was an interesting story, and they actually had some kind of creepy moments here and there. But overall, it was kind of okay, I'm at this point, I really, and I, don't want to say this, but I really want the Cybermen back. I want the Daleks. I want stuff that was in the Doctor Who universe back in this universe again, because this is the stuff that I'm missing. I understand that they're trying stuff all new this season and not trying to rely on the old stuff from the other episodes, but still, it's it's Doctor Who, and you can't really have Doctor Who without having some of those old characters reappear. And I'm absolutely positive that they will be in the next season. I'm almost positive. I mean, they can't do 2 seasons without the Daleks or the Cybermen. And out of all the enemies that Doctor Who has, I think the Cybermen are probably my favorite. I absolutely love the Cybermen. They seem like they're just a massive threat to the universe, and I love the look of them too. I love everything about the Cybermen. I think they're just creepy. I like the idea of them. Of course, the Daleks are, the classic Doctor Who enemy, but still, I love the Cybermen, and I really wish, I haven't seen them in a while, I really wish that they would show back up next season. Again, for this episode, it just didn't thrill me. The idea behind the story was okay. The writing was, I guess, okay. wasn't spectacular. It didn't really have any sort of emotion or feeling at all in this episode. It was just kind of, again, a throwaway episode to the season. And now that we are at the end of the season tonight, we can't have these episodes. We can't have these episodes for Doctor Who that are just like whatever episodes. You know, episode 8 should be, oh my god, I can't wait to find out what happens next week. And that's another thing that I wish they would start doing again here on Doctor Who, is, and they used to do it, you know, even in the old series they did it a lot, where every episode there was like a 3-part episode, especially like Tom Baker, where he would have a 3-story arc and then it would be over, then you have a 3-story arc and it would be over. And I love that, and it made you want to come back every week to find out what's going to happen, and I kind of wish they would go back to that, because it was a lot of fun. But of course, even David Tennant, when he was on in Matt Smith and all the other ones, Peter Capaldi, they also had a continuing story for their seasons, usually. You know, something happens and it's going to continue throughout the whole season, like the Bad Wolf thing and, you know, stuff like that. And this had none of that. This was every single episode was an individual episode that didn't have anything to do with the following episodes. And I think it's a little bit of the problem here with this season, is like there's nothing there to make you want to come back to watch the next episode, except for if you're a Doctor Who fan, obviously you're going to, but there's nothing really there to grab you and say, man, I can't wait to see what's happening on the next episode. If this happened and when they're going to have to continue it in the final episode, there is none of that. It's just an individual's episodes. And I mean, that can work, obviously, for a TV show, but most of the time, when you're watching a TV show, you kind of want to get into the characters and want to get into the story and want to see more of what's going to happen, rather than just having 1-hour episodes that are, you know, by themselves. So with all that rambling, I'm actually going to give episode 9 here a 3 out of 5. Once again, not horrible, not great, and kind of slow moving at the start, and the acting from the other actors wasn't very good in this episode. The effects and everything were cool, the idea was cool, it's just the way it was put all together. So tonight is the final episode, and of course I will get back on here as soon as I can, probably next Saturday. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please subscribe, become one of our Maniacs, and if you are a Doctor Who fan, go back and watch my other reviews, see if you agree with what I'm talking about this whole season. And please respond, put words, make words for the comments section. I like reading your comments about Doctor Who. Mostly it's been positive. I mean, most of the people that have left comments have been positive this month. And I agree. I mean, for the most part, it has been a positive season. I will wrap the entire season up next week, though, with this new episode and tell you what I thought of the whole season overall, and just give you an overall impression of, you know, what I thought of the season. So you don't want to miss that, do you? Of course you don't. So hit the subscribe button, become one of the Maniacs, and we love all the Maniacs here on this channel, especially the Doctor Who Maniacs.